loaded with assumptions, and what we think is being a judgmental thought about us is something that actually could be positive. And that's a good thing. Like if you're trying to think about give yourself positive thoughts, you're thinking, okay, I love her shoes. I want to ask her where she got them because they're really cute on her. But we're assuming by looking at her, looking at our shoes, it's judgmental.
Yeah.
Is that not complicated? That's so complicated.
I know. And I think it is so complicated when we try to assume what somebody else is thinking positively or negatively.
Right,
Because,
right.
like even if you look at somebody, the look on someone's face, you don't even know what is in their mind, but you might be assuming, oh, they're thinking of me. So I think we really do need to try to step away from assuming judgment. And
For sure.
your shoe one is real to me today. I saw a couple friends and they're like, oh, you have your red shoes on, because I wear red shoes every day this year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're like, every time I see red shoes, I think of you. But now if I
That's
saw them in
awesome.
passing and they looked at me, I'd probably think, oh, they think I'm stupid. I know this doesn't match that well. And that's not it at all. It was positive.
Yeah. The one thing too that I wanted to mention that happened to me over this past week was if I felt any sort of feeling of intimidation in a setting or a social setting or whatever, I tried very, very hard, and I'm not saying it's easy. I tried very, very hard to be the first one to either say something or to find something to compliment on. Because I think a lot of times we are in that situation where it's like, oh my gosh, her shoes are so cute. But I'm not nothing comes out though. Like, where did you get those? I would love to have a pair. Like, you're complimenting. Are we scared to compliment because we don't want to give that other person a boost? Or are we just timid and we're just thinking it? So that would be maybe even a challenge to add on to your thinking about yourself positively in 24 hours is be the first to say something. If you think of something, say it. I love your earrings. I love your hair. I love your shirt. Whatever it is, even if you don't really like it, say something, because there's nothing better than to boost someone else's confidence by something that you say. It could make the difference in someone's day.
Well, and I think you're right. It changes how they are, which will internally you'll feel better. And I think I was listening to a podcast about doing triggers to remind yourself to deep breathe. And I think you could also use it for when you feel judged, like a trigger that you do. Like that could be the trigger. If you feel judged, then compliment. Or if you feel judged, then say to yourself, this is me judging. Maybe that's a good way to start to work on to eliminate it for our life, is to have a trigger, what you do when you are feeling judged.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, so let's move on to how your friends have affected your parenting.
Which is a really fun topic because I think back to when I first had my first baby almost 24 years ago. And now Amanda, who just had a baby, her first baby, and she's, not as young as I was. But, talking to her and saying, how are things going? And she's loving life and everything's going good. And it's so great to see the generation just being lax about it. They have so much more information at their fingertips. I think that is a big deal. And then the other part of it is growing up with, you gravitate towards your kids' age, and then their parents. And definitely friends have affected the way I've parented because you see a different model of it. Like when you're first a parent, the only model you have of that is your own growing up. And most of us are like, I am not going to be like my mom or dad. And so I think it just has helped me a lot see different ways and being compassionate and calm and accepting. And, through my child rearing with my children, nothing, and I've always said this to them, nothing that they ever do or will do or have done will ever change my love meter. My love meter is always overflowing. It doesn't lessen that. Yeah.
I know, as far as friends affecting my parenting, that first kid, and you're right, back then we had less information. And it's funny, you go from being scared to take the baby home to not wanting anyone else to help to hold the baby or whatever, and literally not knowing anything. And I was so fortunate. I got in with a group of women. We called it Play Group. And we were at the Y, like a new baby class, and 6 of us or 8 of us started this play group where we'd get together once a week. And it was honestly like my sanity place because we just went there. We all had these questions. We didn't know what we were doing. And it was so refreshing to be with a group of women who are like, we're going through this together. And they're still, they're friends. We get together at least once or twice a year. And the beautiful thing is, like, I'm so invested in their kids. I never see them, but, we raised, we got each other through that hard time. And I think when I was older, as far as like friends affecting my parenting, how each child, if like I always said, there's one crystal ball and it was just one parenting, all we do is figure it out on our own. But all these different kids and there's different issues with raising them, I think that's really where my friends came into effect to like watch how people are, are parenting kids with different personalities and things like that.
For sure. Yeah. It's been just a great, I value my friendships and, not as much as rearing children anymore as, they are as toddlers when we really feel like we're going to go insane. But it definitely was so much help and support. I mean, having someone right along with you and validating you, and you have, we all have that one or two friends who like you can say anything to, and you're never judged and you're validated. Right. And that was just amazing. That was amazing because I had my mom for a little bit. My mom is gone, but for a little bit of that. And I always heard, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. This is what we did. You should do this, and it's like times change. There's different rules. There's different things that the doctors realize. And so having like a peer at my side was
going through
fantastic.
Now, I think friends and how your friends affect your parenting in high school is a little different because I think parents have different levels of like what they care that their kids are doing, like how involved their kid is, how much they go to school, what sports they do, what extracurriculars they do.
Yep.
And I was, it's funny. I think I was sometimes strict about different things than a lot of people in my community. Like I was strict about the extracurriculars I didn't want them doing in the evening. And I was less strict about forcing my kids to study because it was part like, you got to figure it out. You're going to college. I'm not coming with you.
Right.
And so I never thought like back to our judge thing. I didn't feel judged, but I really realized like I parent differently than a lot of people. And like, I always thought sometimes your closest friends, you think you'll parent the same, especially when they're older. And your closest friends, you a lot of times parent your kids really differently than them.
Yep. Absolutely. Agree. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's also learning experiences too. Like, okay, so that didn't work for that kid, even though that's a different, personality. It just is, or you gain something. It's like, oh, hey, good idea.
Yes.
I'm going to do that. Yeah.
And especially like with my oldest and parents who had like, it was their youngest kid, there was a lot to be learned from them.
Yeah.
Like just like, okay, relax. This too shall pass.
Right.
I think, when we look at our little younger chicks and our younger daughters and that's maybe the advice we would have is really invaluable friendships. Even more than we will be to our children is make sure you develop those friendships as a mom because they're really helpful.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Okay, so what's our wrap-up question? Or wait, do we want to have a challenge, first of all, for the week?
Well, I mentioned it earlier. How about like step outside the box? If you think something and you are normally not like a complimenter, like step outside the box. If you're in a situation, be the first to say something or pick something that you want to compliment someone on.
I like that.
So think about yourself continually as positively as you can. And then when you're in social situations, be the first to say something, be the first to say hi. Let's, try to tone down the assumptions and compliment one another, and let's build each other up.
I like that. Okay, so now our question.
Yeah. What did you want to be when you were little?
If I give you 100 guesses, you wouldn't get it. I wanted to be an astronaut.
Wow.
I know.
Awesome.
Like even now in the morning, a lot of times or at night, I'll go out and just like the sky is amazing to me. It's just so beautiful and immense. And it really puts a lot of times perspective in my life. Like I'm one of a billion zillion, but I love it. And I wanted to be an astronaut and like go into space and that when I was younger, but I'm not that smart at math. Or science.
Science. Yeah.
How about you?
That, you saying that makes me want to take a deep breath because I would be so afraid.
Really?
to be in that confined space and in space. And
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by it, definitely. But awesome. That's a great dream. I think, nothing like really stands out, but I'm positive. Like if when I was little, I wanted to be a teacher, I had blackboards and I would put my dolls, in chairs and I would, like spell things out and on the blackboard with chalk, which no one knows is anymore, except for like decorative pieces.
I have my blackboard. I use
Oh
chalk
yeah,
on them.
nice, nice.
Did you did you ever use that? Like, were you a teacher at all ever?
I
Like
was
teach religion
not.
and everything?
Yeah, I mean, like I would teach, like I'd fill in Sunday school. That's probably the extent. Or
Yeah.
when my kids got to be elementary school, then I volunteered, which is, you just are kind of in that, but
Yeah.
there is nothing better than going in there and reading with kids. And I
Yeah.
really liked that.
Yeah.
I really liked
Oh.
that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as we wrap up here, anybody, if you want to, like, we would love to hear two things, or I challenge you to say positive things, be the first to be positive, and to
Compliment.
practice positive thoughts about yourself.
Right.
But also, if you have any, what do you want to be when you grow up? We'd love to see your comments to see what they were.
Really fun.
All right, everyone, flock on. We will see you next Thursday with Fearless Chicks. Carrie and I are going to be on every Thursday that we can. And we look forward to seeing you again. Bye, Kari.
Okay.
Gosh,
Bye.
Kari, call me Jenny.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You'll get
Kari.
it. Flock on.
Bye.